Yeah, I mean, you got to do the thing, so I guess you're starting us off. Oh.
Hold my hand, Nick.
Oh, okay.
Powers.
Bro, we just put camera. It's our camera, right?
God.
That's just the intro.
Actually, hi, this is Jason. Hi, welcome in. Today we're going to be talking about our top 10 favorite cards from March the Machine. I'm Jason.
I'm Austin.
And I'm Nick.
And this is Velvet Games. Well, thanks for tuning in. Like I said, we're going to be going over our top 10s. Each of us are going to give our list of our cards that we're looking forward to the most in March the Machine. But hey, while you're here, make sure you like and subscribe and like this video and subscribe to our channel. Words, they're difficult sometimes.
English is
Yeah,
hard.
I know that.
All right.
English is a little difficult.
So let's get into it, though. Nick, do you want to start us off with your top 10 list?
Sure. Just as a preface, my list isn't really in like most to least favorite or whatever. I just saw these 10 cards and I was just like, yep, that's it. That's the one. I might skip around a little bit just because I do have some preference with the cards. But starting out at my number one is Randon Realmbreaker. It is a 3-mana Planeswalker, 1 and double green for 4 loyalty. It has the passive ability, lands you control have tap, add 1 mana of any color. Pretty good. A lot of people already kind of complain about Chromatic Lantern and how like useless it feels at times. This one is, I would say, slightly better with the pretext that you have to be running it in a deck with green. But, I mean, once you hear the loyalty abilities, it'll kind of make sense.
Right.
For +1, you untap up to 1 target land you control becomes a 3/3 elemental creature with vigilance, hexproof, and haste, and it's still a land. For -2, you mill 3 cards, then you may put a permanent card from among the milled cards into your hand. Pretty decent. But for -7, you get an emblem with you may play lands and cast permanent spells from your graveyard.
That is pretty good.
It's this what is it? Crucible Worlds, and then a little bit extra.
I don't think
And
there's
like a Muldrotha. Yeah, because you,
Oh,
cast,
yeah,
you
yeah.
cast
It
permanent
is.
spells.
It's a better
from-
Yeah,
Muldrotha.
it's a better Muldrotha because Muldrotha says you only get to cast one of each
one
permanent
of each
type.
Yeah.
And if Muldrotha dies, you can't kill an emblem.
No, you
True.
can't kill an emblem. Once you have the
You
emblem,
just have to kill the player.
you just the best kind of removal, player removal.
That's true.
So yeah, so that's starting out the list. I saw the card and I was like, that's pretty good. I like that.
Yeah.
Number 2 is pretty up there for me, at least in terms of cool cards. You know me, I like playing blue. My next card is Sea Double. So it's 2 and double blue for an instant. It has the line of text that says this spell can't be copied. So no weird storm shenanigans with this one. But it says choose one. If an opponent has 8 or more cards in their graveyard, you may choose both. Effect 1 says copy target spell. You may choose new spell or new targets for the copy. It has the reminder text box. A copy of a permanent spell becomes a token. So it kind of works like Mystic Reflections,
Right.
but it doesn't have to be a non-legendary thing you have to pick. It can be any spell, and you get to copy it. Or the second line of text, which kind of goes with the whole doubling up effect. Create a token that's a copy of target creature.
Okay.
So, I mean, you could do either or. Obviously, if you meet the clause of if an opponent has 8 or more cards in their graveyard, you may choose both. We've kind of been seeing a lot of that in the past previous sets where, like, this card does this, but if your opponent has 8 or more cards in their graveyard, you get this too.
Mm-hmm.
This kind of falls in line with that, but it can get a little, I guess, more wonky depending on how you build around it. I think it's neat. It's a neat little card. I definitely plan on doing some pretty wonky things with it in some of my decks.
The fact that it can't be copied, though, is a little...
It's
meh for
limiting.
me.
It's definitely limiting, but I think with a spell like that, especially for 4 mana, I think it needs to be limited a little bit, because of obviously of mana reducers and stuff like that. That card could go off in a pretty nutso way, depending on what you already have on the board or whatever you're going to combo into it with.
I guess so. I don't know. I just like... I'd rather okay, take Twinferno, right? It's 1 in a red. You can either give a creature double strike or give him a copy the next instant or sorcery you cast, right?
Mm-hmm.
For 2 mana, you could copy the next spell, instant or sorcery, right? So this does let you copy to a creature, like
Or enchantment.
or anything. But I don't know. I could see the uses. But at the same time, I think the cons for me weigh out the pros on this card.
I like it just because it's a fair card.
Who needs fair?
Yeah, who needs fair magic?
Give me the overpowered stuff.
No, honestly, I think it's okay. Just because like it kind of fills a slot without being too broken. It's probably also going to be a very very cheap card, just because it's a rare and a standard set. So like, it could be a budget.
Give me another Mind Splice apparatus.
Oh my gosh.
Oh god. Okay. Speaking of I would say somewhat fair cards, we'll go into my next one, which is Sunfall. Sunfall is a 5-mana sorcery, 3 and double white. It says exile all creatures, then incubate X, where X is the number of creatures exiled this way. Me personally, I've always felt like board wipes that just say, oh, destroy all creatures, they can't be regenerated, your Wrath of God, your Damnations, your Damn, like those days or whatever. Like all those board wipes, I don't really feel like they're that good anymore, just because, we have so many instance effects nowadays that just say like, oh, my whole board's indestructible, or my whole board is indestructible and hexproof. I personally like effects like this that say exile all creatures. Good examples would be like Farewell, Merciless Eviction, Descend Upon the Sinful.
Yeah.
I personally like board wipes more that exile the board, just because it's really hard to respond in a way that saves your board state, except for anything short of like a Teferi's Protection or a counterspell.
Right.
This gets the job done, whereas Wrath of God or Damnation doesn't quite get that job done. And that's kind of just personally where I like it. I don't really care for the Incubate X. It's just kind of something extra on top of it or whatever.
Personally, I think that's one of the best parts about the card, though. Like, so let's say someone, like, this card against me is ridiculously stupid. So, like, you're paying 5 mana, you're exiling the whole board, right? It doesn't say non-creatures or non-tokens or whatever else. And then it's counting, right, for number of creatures exiled.
Yep.
So if I have 20 creatures, and then Jason has 5 creatures, and then you have 5 creatures, and then Zach will also have 5 creatures, that's math is 35. You make an incubate 35 counters on it, and then you pay 2 mana on their end step, on their next end step, and you have a 35/35.
Pretty good.
That's pretty good.
It's pretty
obviously
solid.
that's a really good scenario, but like,
yeah, that's like a dream scenario.
in most scenarios, you paying 2 mana to get even an 8/8, like 2 mana for 8/8, like sure, no evasion or anything, but like that's pretty good, and it's also protected just in case someone else, like, it starts out as an artifact, so like even if it's like there's like creature removal or whatever, like if you wait until the very last minute to do it, obviously someone can play against that and wait.
Yeah.
But like they can't do it until it's a creature.
Yeah.
Unless they have obviously like a Vandal Blast or something, but
or like a
that's separate.
Naturalize.
Right.
Just cool, blow it up.
But still, it has a little bit of protection on it. I personally love Incubate.
Yeah, I think Incubate's a cool mechanic from this set. So going into my next card then is Dusk Legion Duelist. It's 1 in the white for a 2/2 creature, Vampire Soldier with Vigilance. It says whenever 1 or more counters, or 1/1 counters, are put on Dusk Legion Duelist, draw a card. This ability triggers only once each turn. It's white card draw. It's another limited white card draw spell, but it's white card draw. I don't necessarily know if white needed more of it. I do know that some people say that white still needs a little bit of catching up. I don't know if this does it for them. Me personally, I just like this card, especially in 1/1 counter decks. Like,
100%.
Obviously, I have a couple decks that care about 1/1 counters. Sometimes I find myself a little lacking in card draw with those, just because you're missing that one piece. I think for a 2/2 with Vigilance that has the added thing of, hey, if you put counters on me, I'm gonna draw you cards. Are you able to put counters on me every turn? Guess what? You're drawing 4 cards every rotation.
Yeah.
Like, pretty good stuff. I think it's solid. I think it's just a solid card.
I don't think white needs the catch up anymore. Like it's caught up. White is caught up now. Like it's
White
getting
is
to the point
officially
of
at the
like
party.
even for most of our lists and stuff like that, or like personal, when we personally talk and stuff like that, a lot of the cards we talk about are white. Like they are they're just strong. Like they're just so many cards. They kind of like pushed it a bit to the point of where like everything's coming out for white is pretty strong. Mind you, it's not that any of the other, like, everything, like green is still
it just boils down to racism.
What? No. Anyway.
Yikes. I mean, hey,
I'm sorry, I had to. I don't know.
the impulse was there.
It
You
was
were
there, I
fighting
couldn't
it so
help it.
hard. I saw it on your face. You were fighting it.
I mean, you're right. White in as a whole in Magic right now has a lot of versatility than it used to.
White
But-
has officially caught up to the party.
right.
It is here.
Yes.
But going back to what you're saying,
Anyway,
I think he threw his whole train of thought
yeah, you
off.
threw my whole train off. Yeah.
I can't help it. It's so easy. It's so easy.
These
God.
jokes just write themselves.
Anyway.
It's great.
Wizards of the Coast just hands them to me.
It's facts.
The thing is with this is another aspect that I know we usually focus on Commander in our top 10s and such, but for Standard, this is a soldier. Even in Commander settings, for the Muriel that just came out, this is a soldier that goes straight into it. There's the mono white soldiers in Standard right now. That this is also a soldier that says put a +1/+1 counter it, you draw a card. So now in mono white Standard, now they have more card draw, which they didn't need because they were relying heavily on the bank busters. And now as they're going to rotate on September. These are going to come in and take their place more than likely. Plus, they're 2/2 with vigilance that get big. And like, you guys remember Sylvan Advocate?
Yeah, I remember that.
It's the elf. It's
from Battle for Zendikar.
yeah.
Yes.
This is a new Sylvan Advocate. That's all it is.
Or both of the Gatewatch, whatever. One of those two.
One of the before Shadows.
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, it's card draw.
Yeah, it's card draw. It's
Mitigated
decent.
card draw.
Yeah. Is it amazing? No, not
it does
really.
the job.
Yeah, it gets the job done for the most part. So that, I guess, will put me into my next card, which also has probably one of my favorite mechanics from March of the Machines that we've been introduced to so far. My next card is Archpriest of Shadows. It is 5 mana, so 3 and double black, for a 4/4 creature, human warlock. She has the mechanic Backup 1. So Backup 1 has the rules text. Whenever this creature enters the battlefield, put a 1/1 counter on target creature. If that's another creature, it gains the following abilities until end of turn. What are her abilities? Well, 1, she has Death Touch. So she makes your little 1/1 into a 2/2 with Death Touch. You have a 0/1, it's now a 1/2 with Death Touch. But it also gains the ability text. Whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player or a battle, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. So Backup is a kind of a cool new thing that they introduced in March of the Machines. Personally, I love it. I think it's a really cool mechanic. It kind of makes you want to evaluate how your battlefield looks and kind of assign out these new abilities onto creatures that may already have abilities that seem pretty good as is. Now you're making them a little bigger. You're giving them new stuff. I kind of like that it incorporates the whole when it deals combat damage to a player or a battle. As we know, battles are now the new card type that's being introduced in March of the Machines. They themselves play a pretty significant role for the most part.
Right.
But being able to just bring a creature straight from your graveyard back to the battlefield and you don't even have to hit a player to do it is pretty good. Not to mention, you're sharing the Archpriest's Death Touch
Right.
with another creature. It almost translates to I get a free attack and I get to bring something back from my graveyard in doing so.
Yeah.
It's
Honestly,
pretty
that
nuts.
is
though.
pretty good.
Yeah.
So you reading Backup, I guess I just didn't read the effect as well as I thought I did. So Backup says put a +1/+1 counter onto a creature.
Onto target creature.
Yeah.
And your card that you just read was the
The
Dust Legion Duelist. That
Yeah.
says whenever it gets a +1/+1 counter, you draw a card.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So the Backup mechanic works with the Duelist.
Yeah.
So you come in, you give it a +1/+1 counter, and it gets another effect.
Yep.
And each turn, you just cast another backup creature, making the Duelist stronger, giving it
Yeah.
a bunch of these effects.
Now you're seeing it.
That is going to be gross.
And in the case of the Dust Legion Duelist, you now have a 3/3 with Vigilance and Death Touch.
And the other effect that lets you bring back creatures.
Yeah,
from
lets
the
you bring
grave.
back creatures from the
It's
graveyard to
on
the
attack,
battlefield.
or is it on
Whenever
It's
it
on
deals
combat
combat
damage.
any combat damage?
to a player,
To a player
player.
or a
Okay.
battle.
Okay.
Not just in general. No, if it was just combat damage in general, that'd be
That'd be dumb.
bonkers.
Yeah.
That would actually be busted.
Yeah.
No, it's cool. Like, I think backup is such a cool mechanic.
Yeah.
Like, I honestly love the versatility with it, and it's also at the same time, it's also limiting itself because you only share the keyword effect from the creature that has backup that enters. If the 1/1 counter you're putting on it has to go on another creature, it can't put it on itself. I mean, I guess in this case it could, but how I'm kind of looking at the backup mechanic is you don't want to. You want to put it on a creature that's going to be able to attack because it only gets that shared ability and keywords and all that until the end of turn.
Yeah, makes sense.
True.
If backup for me slots perfectly into the aggro category where you're always going to have creatures that can attack immediately. So you get the payout like pretty much, I would say, more than half of the time, which is pretty good.
That's pretty good. I like it.
So that takes me into my next card, speaking of aggro. My next card is Etali, Primal Conqueror. And we already know the other side, which I'll get into. Etali, Primal Conqueror is 7 mana, so 5 and double red for a 7/7 legendary creature, Elder Dinosaur with trample. I love dinosaurs, obviously as a bias.
Yep.
Etali says, when Etali Primal Conqueror enters the battlefield, each player exiles cards from the top of their library until they exile a non-land card. You may cast any number of spells from among the non-land cards exiled this way without paying their mana costs. So it's kind of like old Etali, but it's not on attack.
But better.
But better because it's on ETB. You don't have to attack with him. If you're running so he's red-green, obviously because of his other ability, which I'll get into here in a second. So obviously he's red-green. If you splash white or blue into whatever deck that he's in or whatever, you can abuse that ETB effect already. Just the constant, cool, I want the top, whatever the next non-land card is from your library, I get to play it for free.
I mean, you could also just run like Conjurer's Closet, which is colorless.
You could.
If you're running him as the commander, personally I wouldn't. I'd probably just run him in decks. He works better in decks, but
I wouldn't run him as a commander either, and I'll explain it in a little bit. But let's get to his last line of text, which says,
real quick, hold on, before you move on from this disaster of a card put in together. Thank you, Wizards. I guess. It's the better Etali, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you exile off the top of everybody's library, each player, including yourself, until you exile a non-land card. So you automatically get something that you will be able to use.
Yeah, unlike
one
old
way
Etali,
or another.
Which old Etali had the chance of flipping the top card and it being a land, and then just nothing happens.
So just for reference, if you're going against a blink deck, you pretty much get their deck.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Because if you have multiple ways to like Ghostly Flicker or Ephemerate or Cloud Shift or anything like that, it gets nuts.
Casting it for free and just like, oh, you're playing Rune? I'll play Etali.
Pretty much at that point. So his last line of text, which is why I love him so much, mainly just because of dinosaurs, but also because of what happened to him. So for 9 and a Phyrexian green being you can pay a green or 2 life to activate the ability. Transform Etali, activate only as a sorcery. When you do, you flip him around, and he becomes Etali, Primal Sickness. So Etali now turns into an 11/11 legendary creature, Phyrexian Elder Dinosaur. He has Trample and Indestructible, and he has the line of text that says, whenever he deals combat damage to a player, that player gets that many poison counters.
Yeah.
So he's, as we described it, obviously off camera, he is a poor man's Blightsteel Colossus.
Correct.
Which is pretty nutso. Slightly better, slightly worse.
Okay.
In a couple regards. So obviously, if you have ways to buff him up, he says whenever he deals combat damage to a player, they get that many poison counters.
Right.
So if you Titanic Growth, Might of Oaks, Colossification him, now he's swinging in for a lot more infect. It's going to be a little harder to block him. That's how he's better. How he's worse is because he does not have the keyword infect on him. So if they are able to block all 11 damage that he deals, you get nothing.
Yeah.
Unlike the case with Blightsteel Colossus, where Blightsteel says, oh, you threw a 6/6 in front of my 11/11? Cool. it's dead, you still get poison counters because poison counters applied to creatures get applied in -1/-1 counters.
Right.
Atali doesn't do that.
I personally think it's the same.
I think it's very similar.
Yeah,
but
it is very
You are
similar.
right. And I don't understand why Wizards didn't just say, give them infect at this point. Like, they literally just wrote out what infect means.
Yeah, no, quite literally.
But not for creatures.
But not to creatures. Exactly. Like, what's going on, Wizards? You want to print infect but not infect?
I think
you want to give
were,
us toxic but not infect?
I think they were just afraid to put Blightsteel Colossus in standard again.
So what?
No, it's also when they print sets, they don't like adding keywords if they're not doing a whole rotation of it, like
So
in the
dumb.
set. So like mind you, so for example, for like backup, if there was for some reason another reason why they wanted a card to have backup, but then didn't want to print backup in the whole set, they would literally just write out the effect for backup.
Yeah. as
onto
an
a card.
effect.
Yeah,
I
without-
get
They've
that.
done it
without the
before. They do it a
keyword.
lot.
They
Actually.
Yeah,
do it all
they
the
do.
time, but that's the frustrating aspect is just like, why?
Why?
Now,
Like-
real quick, when it says to transform, does it exile him and then flip him, or
Transform Atali. Nope. It
Nope.
is. It just.
Cool.
So he has haste.
so he just has haste?
He just has haste. He can attack immediately if he as
well,
long
he
as
has
he
to be
stayed
on
out.
the field. Yeah. So he doesn't
Yes.
actually have
Right.
haste. But yes.
Yeah.
Basically, you on turn 7, or hopefully sooner than turn 7, you cast
yeah,
the,
it's
the-
red green.
the front end, and then the next turn, more than likely, you flip him.
Yeah, for 9 mana. Because people are saying 10, but it's a Phyrexian green. Why are you not gonna? You're playing red
You're-
green. Why are you not gonna pay the 2
Yeah.
life?
Nobody's in that. I don't see anybody going, well, I don't have 10 mana.
Well, it's not even that, because like when you're paying 7 for a 7/7 with trample, right? That rate alone is already good.
It's already good.
But then you're getting 4 automatic cards on top of that.
Mhm.
Even if 1 or 2 of them are ramp, you
Yeah.
can just flip them next turn. But then on top of that, you just get the other 2 that are either kill spells, good creatures,
Yep.
bad creatures,
oh,
whatever,
you
anything.
you flipped the Vidalcan Orrery. I'll take that. Oh, you
Yeah.
flipped the Sunbird's Invocation. I'll take that.
Right.
You flip the merciless eviction.
No.
I'm gonna take that, and I'm
No.
gonna choose artifacts.
Yeah.
Punish everyone else. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's funny. It's a neat little card. I don't think it's gonna be overly broken. I think it'll be fun to play
No,
with.
because of it's a mana
I'll tell you right
cost.
now, it is definitely going in Gishath.
Of course,
100%.
Yeah,
Sure.
There's no way.
It's a
It's
dinosaur.
Yeah, it's a dinosaur. So that'll take me into my next card, which is, I'm really glad that he's back, but not quite in the same way. My next card is Etched Familiar. So it's 2 and a black for a 3/2 artifact creature, Phyrexian Fox. It has the text: when Etched Familiar dies, each opponent loses 2 life, and you gain 2 life. A lot of people online, and a lot of people that I've seen, all know that the story for the Filigree Familiar from Kaladesh has now come full circle, and the Filigree Familiar has been Phyrexianized, and now it is this horrific machine monstrosity that serves under Shieldred's edict, which is kind of neat. Look at him, little fox boy.
Yeah,
Except he's a
fox
little-
got Guden.
he's a
Little
little
fox got
demon.
Guden. The great thing too is that the flavor text is the curio vendor who sells the Filigree Familiar.
Mhm.
Because in the flavor text, I don't remember the exact flavor text, but in the flavor text for Filigree Familiar, the curio vendor Chan Mi is the one who is mentioned talking about the Filigree Familiar and all that. And now the flavor text for it just says no refunds, because it's alluded to that they've probably also been Phyrexianized,
Or
or
he's a gremlin. That's all
Or
he is.
Yeah.
or it could also just be like, hey, it's Phyrexianized. I don't want that back.
I don't want it back.
Exactly. It's a gremlin.
I sold it to
Yeah.
you. I don't want it back.
Yeah.
I just think it's cool. It kind of fits along into the whole like what Black has been doing a lot of recently, which is the draining everyone and gaining you life.
Yeah.
I kind of like it in that regard also because it's kind of like sack fodder. It's
Yeah.
pretty good sack fodder that goes along with any other sack effects you might have that make people sack creatures or also drain them for life
It's an
when you sack
artifact.
it. And it's an artifact. So you can slot it into most artifact decks.
It's really easy to sack and bring back.
Yeah, 100%. I already see it already with like Disciple of the Vault.
Yeah.
Sap everybody for 3, gain me 3.
It's already.
Duretti 2 even. Spicy. I like it.
Beep-boop. That's it.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right. What's next?
Next one is a card that when I first saw it, I got super excited for it because I was like, I immediately know what deck this is going into. It is Rona, Herald of Invasion.
Mm-hmm.
Rona.
I'm so excited to see her story come all the way to the point that it's gotten to. But Rona is 1 in the blue for a 1/3 legendary creature, human wizard. She has the line of text: whenever you cast a legendary spell, untap Rona, Herald of Invasion. So obviously, why would you want to do that? The reason being is because her next ability is a tap ability that says draw a card, then discard a card.
Mm-hmm.
So you just get to loot every time that you cast a legendary spell.
I wonder what deck that's going in, Nick.
Yeah, I wonder too. Kind of starts with a S, rhymes with Issei. Pretty good.
That's not a real word.
However, she has another line of text
Nick,
that
say
says
that on the internet.
for look at me, bro. I'm Spanish. I can say that. But the next line of text for her is pretty interesting. So it's 5 and a Phyrexian black. Mm-hmm. Phyrexian black meaning you can pay a black or 2 life to activate it. Transform Rona, activate only as a sorcery. So kind of like with the Tallies. She transforms into Rona, Tolarian Obliterator. She is now a 5/5 with trample. She's also now a Phyrexian wizard, no longer human. She says, whenever a source deals damage to Rona, Tolarian Obliterator, that source's controller exiles a card from their hand at random. If it's a land card, you may put it onto the battlefield under your control. Otherwise, you may cast it without paying its mana cost. Pretty good.
That is pretty decent.
It's kind of what I expect for a blue-black creature.
Mm-hmm.
Be like, cool, I want to steal stuff out of your hand. And I guess it's kind of cool because 9 times out of 10, stealing stuff out of people's hand is usually like something you want to cast. But Rona has just that kind of step above where she's like, oh, did I get a land by accident? Cool, I want it.
Yeah.
So, weird concept time.
Okay. Let's hear it.
Grixis. You deal damage to Rona.
Yep.
You then exile cards from your own hand.
Yeah.
And you cast them for
free.
Sources controller exit. Oh.
Yeah. Did Grixis just get a really good ramp card in Rona?
Yeah, because you can just be like,
well, does it say play on it?
It says cast without paying its mana cost.
And it says
So
if it's a land, you may put it onto the battlefield.
So yeah, it doesn't even count as land for turn.
It doesn't count as your land for turn.
So you're just like,
I didn't even think about that, but that's funny.
I'm gonna ping Rona. Okay, I'm gonna exile a card at random. Shuffle.
You run literally any red pinger that just says deal 1 damage to any target. Grixis just got a little better.
Artist.
Yeah.
Literally at the end of someone else's turn, tap it, pay 4 or whatever, deal 4 damage, draw 4 cards.
And she's a 5/5.
Yeah.
Like any Tim deck, you're just like,
100%.
Gosh, that is so
yeah,
good.
no, 100%. When I saw this card, I was just like, yo, this is it. This is the good one. And now that I'm thinking about my Sisei deck too, I have pingers in there. Like they're like small pingers, obviously, and sometimes they can be big, but
yeah.
Spicy. That's a spicy meatball. I like that.
Yeah.
So, let me get into my next card because I've kind of already discussed this card in another in our short that we talked about. But my next card is Galta and Mavern. It's 7 mana, so 3 double green, double white for a 12/12 legendary creature dinosaur vampire with trample. Already sounding pretty nice.
Yeah.
Whenever you attack, choose 1. You can create a tapped and attacking XX green dinosaur creature token with trample, where X is the greatest power among other attacking creatures. Or you can create X11 white vampire creature tokens with lifelink, where X is the number of other attacking creatures. So
the question is, do you want to go big or do you want to go wide?
You want to go wide, yeah, because tokens,
yeah, usually. So I like Galta and Mavern. I like tokens in specific colors. My usual go-to for tokens is Naya, or green-white if I need to really boil it down to the least amount of colors. Galta and Mavern fits that for me because it gives me options. Tokens are usually pretty linear in their creation. It's usually make a big one, like in the case of like the 10/10 Eldrazi tokens or whatever. Or let me make like 100 1/1 soldiers or 100 2/2 cats or whatever. Thinking about like White Sun Zenith. What is that? What is it? Is it Fel the Mighty? Is it the one that says like destroy all creatures if X is 5 or more or whatever? Martial Coup. That's what it is. Yeah. So like kind of those token generations, you like make a bunch of little dudes. Or in the case of like the Eldrazi token ones, like make one big dude.
Right.
Galta gives you the best of both. It goes, okay, what kind of tokens do you want to make this combat? It kind of also doubles up with, as in the case of my Geared deck. Geared runs a lot of Anthem effects for tokens.
Right.
Doesn't matter which one you pick. Either the big dude you're putting out's getting bigger, or all the little dudes just got a little bigger and a little more terrifying. Galta kind of limits itself in a little bit though, Galta and Mavern, because it says other attacking creatures.
Right. If it didn't have that line of sight, well, number one for the vampire tokens, you just wouldn't make that many, I guess.
No, you wouldn't. But
unless you're already running the thing. But that one's not even the big deal. The dinosaur is the big deal, because if you're able to drop this on turn 6, 7, whatever, and the next turn you swing with it, making it 2 12/12s, or just a single. Sorry,
having a whole nother 12/12 swinging in with your 12/12 is wow. I'm suddenly terrified.
Both with trample.
Both with trample too. Yeah.
So take 24.
Yep.
Yes.
Take 24, or take little less. Maybe take 18.
Yeah. Hope you didn't like playing this game.
Yep.
Yeah, pretty much. I think that's kind of why it says other, because it have to limit itself a little bit. I'm noticing that with this set, that a lot of the cards kind of limit themselves a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's fine though.
But I mean,
Weak.
Galta and Mavern's pretty solid. It's going in Gishath.
Right.
I'll probably get another one so I can put it in Geared, just because it makes tokens. I think it's neat. I'm definitely gonna have my fun with it at some point.
I agree.
So that brings me into my last card, which is I would have to say it's probably I wouldn't say number one, definitely the number 2 card in this set I'm excited for, overall. And it is Realmbreaker, the Invasion Tree.
It's a spicy meatball.
It is a spicy
That
meatball. It's a big old metal tendrilled coil meatball, but we love it anyway. So it's a 3-mana legendary artifact. It has 2 lines of text on it. They're both tap abilities. So the first one is 2 mana, tap, target opponent mills 3 cards. Put a land card from the graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. It gains if this land would leave the battlefield. Exile it instead of putting it anywhere else. So you get to mill people's libraries and take their lands. It's pretty mean, but
That's
also
just
not
Oblivion Sower.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, it's not too bad. It's not too bonkers, but it's definitely a little spicy. That's not the ability I'm excited for though, and this is the one that I think is stupid. So for 10 mana, tap it, sacrifice Realmbreaker the Invasion Tree, search your library for any number of Praetor cards, put them onto the battlefield, then shuffle.
Yeah.
That's rough.
You know what's so funny to me? It says Praetor cards. Yeah. We have how many copies of each of the Praetors now? 3?
3.
Yep.
So for 10 mana, you're getting 15 creatures onto the board for free.
Or
you're thinking too small. My friend.
or you play Maskwood Nexus and get every creature out of your deck.
Yeah, because you just play Maskwood Nexus and call Praetors as your creature.
No, Maskwood just says they
everything
are
is everything.
Oh, no, that's right. It just says it that you're... Oh, man.
That is rough.
That is disgusting. I hate that.
Oh, I love it. I love it a lot.
Yeah.
I was going to slot it into Sisay because I already run... I think I run 4 or 5 Praetors in the deck, paying in total 13, 3 to cast, 10 to activate.
Yeah.
That's already so good.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be ridiculous. Now, obviously, we're looking at it from a commander standpoint. From a standard standpoint, it's not really that big of a deal. 10 mana to activate that second ability is kind of a lengthy thing. Not when there are already so many cheap artifact destruction spells. Not even just in green anymore. Mainly prominent in red and in some cases white. Even on some white creatures now.
Yeah.
Well, in standard, the only reason I could see this ever being played is in a control version of the deck, where you're just controlling the board so much that it doesn't matter. This is basically your Hullbreaker Horror. This is the top of your line where you're just cool, everything, and you just get Shieldred, blah 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 blah, and then once you have 4 of the Praetors out, you're just I win.
Yeah, at that point, I think if
Elish
you
Norn, Shieldred, Jin Kataxis, you can just sit there and be do you not want to play the game anymore? Oh yeah, you can't.
Does Gix count?
Gix is he a Praetor?
He is a Praetor. I'm pretty sure he is.
In name, he's Praetor. It says he's the Urborg Praetor or whatever, but I don't know if he counts as a Praetor
I don't think I think they have to have Praetor in their creature type.
Yeah,
right, I know that. Yeah.
But if Gix is a Praetor in his creature type, you could go get him too.
Yeah. That would be interesting, honestly.
I think that'd be pretty good.
Yeah.
But obviously, even now, the question constitutes itself of, do you run this in every deck that has Praetors in it? No. I would say if you're gonna run
Gix is a Praetor.
Yep.
Gix is a Praetor.
He's a
that
Phyrexian
is
Praetor.
spicy.
You know who else I think is a Praetor? Atraxo.
Is Atraxa a Praetor?
I have to double check.
I think she has Praetor's voice in her title, but I think she's a Phyrexian angel. I don't think she's a Praetor.
Let's find out, kids.
I don't think she is.
All I know is that I would say if you're gonna run this in your decks,
she's a Phyrexian angel.
You would have to have minimum, like, to get the effective costs, like for the 3 to cast, the 10 to activate, minimum 3.
Yeah.
Minimum 3 Praetors.
Yeah. But even then, like, I personally wouldn't even run it unless you're trying to do a combo thing, or if you're just playing like a Phyrexian deck that just so happens to be running all the Praetors.
If you have all 15 Praetors, technically 16 with Gix.
16 with Gix.
If you're running all 16 Praetors in your deck and you have Realmbreaker, if you get to the point you can activate that ability, I'm gonna sit there and go, how have you not won yet?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like taking an infinite turn at that point.
Yeah.
Well, that's the end of your list?
Yep. Oh, obviously I have my honorable mention, which I probably should have mentioned at the beginning, but whatever.
That's okay. You went backwards.
Yeah, we went a little backwards.
Fix it.
I go against the rules sometimes. So my honorable mention for my list is Deadly Derision. It's a black instant for 2 and double black. It says destroy target creature or planeswalker, create a treasure token. So the reason why I didn't put it in my top 10 is because while I do like seeing the uniqueness and kind of the way that Wizards likes to divvy up and kind of give this unique nature to black removal spells, it didn't make it into my list because I think it's good. I don't think it's great. It didn't make me that excited, but when I looked at the card, I was like, oh, that's cool. People immediately compare it to Ruinous Path. Ruinous Path is for 3 mana for 1 and double black. Yeah, it's 1 and double black, destroy target creature or planeswalker, and then it has the Awoken thing, and nobody ever does that. Unless you're playing that kind of deck, then more power to you. People compare it to that because while this is 4 mana, it's an instant, and it also makes you a treasure token, which is, if you think about it in that sense, it's kind of like a mana reduction in that card.
If you think about it, it's murder with extra steps.
It's murder with extra steps, yeah. It's murder, but you get to kill a planeswalker too on top of it, which is pretty nice.
Yeah. It's also, Hero's Downfall.
Yeah. Also, it has Duretti on it.
Yeah. Which is my favorite part.
That's the only part I like about it.
So yeah, I think it's good. It's a fun little card. It didn't make the list for me because it wasn't one of my favorites, but I was like, I'd probably run that if I pulled one. I'll probably pick one up from the bulk at our LGS if it's there.
Yeah. It will be there.
Oh, no, 100%.
More than confident.
I guarantee you there's like a good handful of people that are going to be like, I don't want this trash card. Toss it in the bulk. And I'm like, cool. Yoink.
Yeah. All right,
well, that's my list.
I guess I'll get into the next list. But first, a word from our sponsors. What's that? We don't have any?
I was about to say, we have sponsors?
Maybe you guys could watching. Doritos, please sponsor us. Anyways, to my honorable mention, to start off right, is Hedron Detonator. It's a good old-fashioned 2 and a red. Whenever an artifact enters the battlefield under your control, Hedron Detonator deals 1 damage to target opponent. Then you can tap, sacrifice 2 artifacts, exile the top card of your library, and you could cast that this turn. Now, it is only in the commander deck.
The Precon, yeah.
But it's pretty good.
Wait, hold on. Is that goblin holding a Dorito? Zoom in on the Dorito.
I'm kidding. No.
Or not, maybe. I don't know. You can do that if you want to.
All right.
It's pretty good. Yeah,
I mean, no, I think it's a pretty decent card already.
Is that a Dorito? Anyways,
it looks like a Dorito.
It does look like a Dorito.
It is a real spicy nacho cheese Dorito.
Anyways,
so yeah, that was your honorable mention.
That was my honorable mention. It's pretty cool. I like it. I'm gonna put in some artifact decks.
Yeah.
Anyways, to my real list, number 10, Schema Thief. Again, in the artifacts, if you guys aren't picking up on my drift, the Teamer artifacts deck is nice. Mm-hmm. Schema Thief is 3 and a blue. Veldakin Rogue Artificer. Flying. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, create a token that's a copy of target artifact that player controls. And it's a 3/3. So 4 mana 3/3 that flies, and it can make a copy an artifact that somebody else controls. Pretty nice. Even if
Pretty
you need it as a
decent.
treasure token, you're just like, cool, I'll make my own treasure token. Worst case scenario. Or, hey, that's a nice soul ring. I want one too. That's a nice mana crypt. Whatever. Insert artifact there. You get it too. Now, you do have to deal combat damage to them, but with it having flying,
It helps.
and it's blue, it's not hard.
Yeah, that's not going to be hard at all.
Yeah.
You know what that's really good in? I can't remember his name right now. The Esper guy from Nuka Penna.
Rafine?
No, the commander deck, the one that gives something unblockable or double strike.
Camise.
Camise, yes.
Yeah, Camise.
Yeah.
He's really good.
Yeah, that would be good.
I need that.
Too bad.
It'd make them unblockable. It's pretty nasty. I like that.
No. Yeah, so I mean, I think any copies in Gimbal, the teamer artifact that you make a copy of of an artifact, which is Gimbal's whole big deal, is like you get that copy of a soul ring, and now you have another artifact token that's a different type, and you make bigger goblin boys. Anyways, Terror of Tawashi is my next card. It's a 2 and 2 black. Death Touch. Whenever Terror of Tawashi attacks, you may pay 3 and a black. When you do, return target creature from your graveyard to the battlefield if it is a Phyrexian in addition to its other types, and it's a 4/3.
That's pretty good.
It's a 4/3 with Death Touch too. At that,
It's a 4/3 with Death Touch. You pay 4, you bring something back. Oh, you're gonna kill my biggest threat on the board? Cool. Terror of Tawashi. Yeet.
And it's back.
And it's on attack. Boop. Bring it back.
it's pretty good.
Like it just works.
The cool thing I like about it too is that it says when it attacks, it's
Doesn't have
not
to
a
connect.
combat. Yeah, it doesn't have to connect. It could get taken out of combat. It could get bounced back to hand. You're still gonna get that activation off because it's on attack. I think that's pretty pretty good.
Yeah, and it there's so many different areas that you could run it in. Run it in a self-mill deck. Run it in a creature every board wipe kind of deck where you're just killing off your board and just bringing them back. Recursion decks, aristocrat decks.
Yeah, that's true.
There's so many areas that this is just it works.
Yeah, because it doesn't say it had to get put in the graveyard this turn.
No.
It just says
It's
in
just
general.
graveyard.
Yeah.
Now, I will say, Mighty, this costs a lot of mana. You could throw that in Ishin that doubles your attack triggers. It'll be 8 mana, but in one attack, you're getting 2 creatures back.
Yeah.
Once again, a lot of mana.
Right.
But if you're getting back, a 9 mana thing and a 10 mana thing, that doesn't really matter.
My idea was a little bit more simpler. I was thinking Rings of Bright Hearth or Strionic
Oh,
Resonator,
yeah, you could do that too.
stuff like that. Where
Yeah.
just
That's very true.
I want 2 of them. So
Yeah,
all right. So my next one is a little bit here a doozy, boys.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite cards coming out is Kenra Spell Spear. It is a Jackal Warrior. It's 1 in a red, Trample Prowess. Then it's 3 in a Phyrexian blue, and to transform it. So first, I'm a mono red player. I love fast, quick. I want to win a game before you can even do anything.
Right.
So this for my mono red standard, perfect. This for any Prowess commander deck, perfect. This for most red-blue decks, perfect.
Or Zada.
Or Zada.
Has strength.
I can't put it in Zada.
Oh, because it's right.
It's blue-red,
I
bud.
forgot.
Come
My bad,
on.
my
Get
bad.
with the program, Austin.
Hey, man.
Austin
Anyway, go
doesn't-
on.
Austin doesn't know how to
I
read.
forgot.
It's
That's
okay, I
the
don't follow the
Wendigo
rules.
in him. Anyways,
what?
It's
The
Wendigo.
The Wendigo.
No.
No, the Wendigo.
The
We know what we said.
Wendigo. The
Yeah.
Wendigo.
We know what we said. We said Wendigo.
Yeah. I said what I said. Austin's a different type.
Austin's built different.
He is built different. Wendigos can't read.
Go on, Jason.
Anyways.
Yeah, let's talk about this transformation, bud. What does it transform into?
When this transforms, unlike when Austin transforms, it gets better. It transforms for 3 in a Phyrexian blue. He has Trample, Ward 2, Prowess. Each instance of Prowess triggers separately. So basically, you cast him, you transform him, he becomes a 3/3 with Trample still, and Ward 2 now, so it gets harder to kill, and Prowess. Yes, I'm not stuttering. That's Prowess. That's 2 of them. He gets super big. One spell gets him +2/+2, pretty much.
Yeah.
and that's if the spell itself doesn't give him +2/+2 already.
Exactly. I just can't wait for somebody to be like, okay, I'm just gonna pump this boy. This is gonna be like a super turbo punch, and I'm just gonna run a mono red deck because in standard it doesn't matter, or in Pioneer, whatever. Mono red, 3, pay 2 life, whatever. Ka-chow, done deal.
You know what's really funny though? If you go to it, like, let's say you go to combat with it, right? It's already like, I don't know, you cast one thing, you swing out on it, and someone goes, "Oh, I'm gonna go ahead and destroy it," and then you're just like, "Yeah, I'm gonna counterspell it," and then buff it up by another 2.
Yep.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
Yeah.
This card has the strongest potential to almost always be the one hit KO card in your deck.
Gotcha, stupid. That's what I think of.
Yeah.
Gotcha, stinky, swinging in for 24. Love that. I honestly, a card like that, that's good.
Yeah, and you give it double strike, and when you cast that instant, it gives it double strike.
Yeah,
it gets +2/+2.
Yeah.
So
you give
now
it
you're
double
swing
strike.
for 10. Like, it's just so good.
Good.
Any kind of aura effects you can put on it too that buff it up also still count as non-creature spells for the prowess. It's just like, wow,
super good.
this is gross. I'm dying really quickly.
Yeah, that's that card. Once you get into your hand, go, oh, I can win with this. Yeet.
Yeah, because in total to play it and then transform it is 5 mana and 2 life.
6 mana technically, but yeah, because if you pay 5 and 2 life, but 6 mana in all. But like we said earlier, if you're paying, listen to me. If you have a Phyrexian and you're paying the actual mana cost, stop it.
Yeah, if you are
Do
ahead
better.
in any sort of capacity, you don't need to pay the mana. Just pay the life. If you're still at full life and you're paying the color,
no. Even if you're at 3 life and you're gonna go down to 1, pay the 2.
Lose the game.
Win
yeah,
the game.
Teeter on the edge of winning and losing.
Win the game, because you don't lose the game at 1 life.
You lose the game at 0.
Shots
You lose the game when they win. So if you win before you lose, you win.
Yeah, you don't lose the game at 1 life. You lose the game at -26 when this Gitaxian Spellstalker swings in on you.
Life is a resource.
You're
Use
right.
it.
That honestly.
Anyways, back to more mono red shenanigans. My next one is a Blood Feather Phoenix. Phoenixes don't get enough shoutouts, okay? And I'm going to do them justice as they deserve. Blood Feather Phoenix is 1 in red. It is a phoenix with flying, and it cannot block. However, it says whenever you cast an instant or sorcery you control, deals damage to an opponent or battle, you may pay 1 red, and if you do, Blood Feather Phoenix returns from your graveyard to the battlefield, and it gains haste until end of turn. And it's a 2/2.
With flying.
So, hello, modern players. Welcome to the next Phoenix.
Yeah.
You like lightning bolts? Here's a lightning bolt and a Phoenix.
That's true. Because the other Phoenix was from what? From Ixalan, wasn't it?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Arclight Phoenix?
The one that makes a feather token when it dies, and then the feather token transforms
Rekindling
into
Phoenix.
it. Yeah,
that was from
Rekindling
Ixalan.
Phoenix. Yeah, I mean that one and Arclight Phoenix we're seeing play in Modern for a short bit, just because the Rekindling Phoenix was just like a cool. I'm going to sack it or fling it or whatever at you, and it's just gonna come back because of the feather token and do it all over and over and over again.
And that's the thing. And even in Commander, a Phoenix is very versatile for the most part. Like, should I just make a Phoenix deck?
You could.
Good, might as well.
Might as
There's a
well.
commander for it.
There's definitely a commander for it.
There is. There's
Like,
also a lot of
literally, there is a
changelings.
They
Phoenix.
just printed it like 2 sets ago, right?
I think so. No, I think it was a little later back than that.
Let me know in the comments, guys.
Yeah, I don't remember. It's the
then-
the Rakdos one.
Yeah, and then you also have a bunch of changelings
True.
to fill in the gaps for the 20. What is it? The 25 requirement for a tribe?
Mask with Nexus.
Yeah. There you go.
Correct.
That works.
Everything a Phoenix. All right, moving on to more mono red because I know you guys want to see more red cards. Orthion, Hero of Lava Brink. It's 3 in a red, legendary creature, human soldier. 1 in a red, tap it, create a token that's a copy of another target creature you control, gains haste, sacrifice at the beginning. Basically, make a red token, right? And then for 6 and 3 red, so for 9 mana, create 5 tokens. Now, if you don't like more tokens,
Yeah, what are you doing with your life?
I don't know. Like, this guy's here for you.
I'm here for it.
Right. So for 4 mana, you get him out. For 9 mana, you have a Rite of Replication on a stick.
Kind of.
For
What
a
do you
little
mean,
more,
kinda?
for a little more mana.
You don't keep the tokens.
Well, okay, yes, you don't keep the tokens,
Who
but
cares about that? They get haste.
so my goal with this
Fair.
is to have a legendary death triggers.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
So
Atsushi's looking real good all of a sudden.
What would you do that with though?
Atsushi.
Atsushi.
Oh, no.
Make 5 tokens of Atsushi, get 15 treasure tokens, or exile the top 15. Or no, is it top 15? It's
Yeah,
exile
it's
the top,
top
2
3.
cards.
Top
Yeah.
3.
Exile the top 15 cards of your library. You can play them this turn. Whatever the other effect is, I don't remember.
You can also
It's
just mix it up,
treasures.
too.
That's it. It's just those 3. So you could, yeah. So like this with Atsushi is amazing, as well as for those standard players. I don't think this is a really good tech, but it's funny to me. Rada Drobic says whenever a legendary creature dies, you make a token of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then that token is not legendary. With this boy says make a copy of Atsushi. Now you have another Atsushi. Then make a copy of Atsushi. Now you have another Atsushi. Make a copy of this guy. Now you have 2 more Atsushi, and so on and so forth. You just done. Anyways,
That's true. Yeah, that.
Whatever you just said made my brain hurt.
You made the wrinkles on my brain itch with that combo.
basically with this guy, you could combo out with any death trigger, or just make a bunch of little like Delinas. Those are funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is true.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah. So there's so many like stuff, so much stuff you could do inside and outside of Commander. My next one is a Commander exclusive, Goro Goro and Soturu. Whenever one or more, it's a Grixis. It's a blue, black, red, and it's a goblin human. Weird kind of creature type, to be honest. Whenever one or more creatures you control that entered the battlefield this turn dealt combat damage to a player, create a 5/5 red dragon spirit creature token with flying. Pay 1 red, creatures you control gain haste until end of turn. When I tell you this card is busted, it's busted, guys. Listen. Turn 1, you play. It doesn't matter what you play. All right? It's all matters on your turn 3 or 4.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Turn 3, you bust this guy down. If you have any more mana, you drop a 1-drop haste boy and you throw it at somebody. Doesn't matter. Turn 4, you could drop 3 more haste guys and swing at each of your opponents and make 3 5/5s because it says to a player.
Yep.
Oh.
So now on turn 4, you should have a total of 20. You could have a total of 20 damage in the air.
You know what you could do with that? When you make the dragons, you can play an extra turn, not extra turn, you could do extra turn, but like you could do an extra combat, and then since those dragons just entered, you could pay another 2, give all those dragons haste, hit them, make 3 more dragons.
Yeah.
Ta-da.
It's annoying.
It's pretty cool, honestly.
Yeah,
I
I like
also love the team up because I love Goro Goro and Satoru as characters. They're great.
Yeah. All right, moving on because I could talk about that all day. Surge of Salvation is 1 white. Welcome to Fog, white. You and permanents you control gain hexproof until end of turn. Prevent all damage that black and or red sources would deal to creatures you control this turn. Now, as we said earlier in this video, white is getting all the cards it needs and then some because it doesn't need this. Like, I don't understand, but hey, Wizards, go
They
on.
already had cards like this before, though.
But for 1 white,
But for 1 white, you're getting you and your permanents are all getting
Yeah.
hexproof.
Well, sorry, wait, was it blue?
And you're
Actually, I don't know.
because this is basically Veil of Summer,
Right.
right? But for white, and you're giving everything hexproof.
and it counts only for red and black.
also
Kind of like
Mizium
kind of
skin.
like with Veil of Summer carrying only for blue or black.
Yeah. So, come on, white. We don't need it. All right, my next one is a Praetor. It is Rask, and he is 2-sided like all the new Praetors. He's 2 and 2 red, first strike. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, he deals 1 damage to target opponent. Add red mana. So you can keep going. Like, it's just great.
It's a gutter snipe mixed with Bergie.
Exactly. It's the better.
Quite literally.
And then you just pay 1 red, you exile it, and then it returns transformed on the other side. Activate only as a sorcery and only if you've cast 3 or more instants or sorceries spells this turn.
Not hard
Which is
to do.
which is not the fact that Urbrass is giving you a red every time you cast an instant or sorcery. It's not going to be hard to do.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And he deals damage. So, like, my mono red players, I'm here for you.
We band together now.
Yeah. So what does Rask transform into?
So he turns into the Great Work, and as we know, Rask got deleted.
He doing the great work.
He is doing the great work.
For the first step of the saga, he turns into a saga. For those who didn't know, first step, he deals 3 damage to target opponent and each creature they control. So just like, you offend me, die.
It's like an anger of the gods, but it hits the player too.
His second, you create 3 treasure tokens.
Meh. Yeah.
Pretty decent.
And then his third is until end of turn, you may cast instant or sorcery spells from any graveyard. If a spell cast this way will be put into a graveyard, exile it. Exile this and then turn it face up. So then you turn him back to Rask. And then you're like, all of your graveyards are mine too. And you just
I was going to say, I just realized that. So with the great work, you keep that line of text until your turn ends.
But then he turns.
And then he flips back into Rask,
Mm-hmm.
meaning you get that line of text again where you get to ping everybody for 1 and add... Oh.
And then it gives you the treasures the turn before that, so you can use the treasures for any color you need.
Correct.
For casting other people's stuff.
And you get red when you do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, oh, God, and you pair this up with Storm Killing Artist, too?
Mhm.
Oh, my
and
God.
actual Burgie.
Yeah, an actual...
Every time I cast
Ugh.
Instant or Sorcery, I'll make 3 mana.
I
Yeah.
think...
So
Yikes.
again, reflecting back into standard for a second, mono red, looking at the top list, you have the Blood Feather Phoenix that says whenever it instant or sorcery deals damage to an opponent, you get him back for 1 red. So you do that, you get him back. You have the red dude that has prowess when he transforms. Mm-hmm. And then at the top of it all, you just have lightning strikes, play with fires, all these nice little instant spells are just like, take a damage. And for my Pioneer players, you're welcome. My second card is Chrome Host Seed Shark. It is 2 and a blue, flying. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, incubate X, where X is that spell's mana value. So basically, did you like Shark Typhoon? Well, here's another one.
A worse one.
I was going to say, it's
lesser
like,
of,
yeah,
but it's 3 mana, a 3 mana 2/4 flyer.
Yeah.
That whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you make a token.
Mm-hmm.
And then that token is equal to the strength of that spell.
Yeah, it's still
Yeah,
good.
it feels very reminiscent to Metallurgic Summonings as well, where you're making the
Same
construct tokens. Because it also, Metallurgic Summonings also counted for non-creature spells, and you're making constructs. This is slightly better because, like you were saying before with Incubate, it's very hard to interact with it unless you're specifically running artifact destruction stuff.
Yeah.
In the case of like Metallurgic Summonings, your constructs were artifact creatures, so they could be hit by board wipes, hit by kill spells, or whatever.
And it's funny too. You can cast instants and anything at instant speed.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just like, oh, you're gonna board wipe all creatures. I'm gonna make 20 like incubates or whatever. How much mana you have ready? And you're just like, no. Boom, ready to go. 2. Here's my army.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think that's really cool, honestly.
All right, and my last and the best card in the set, in my opinion, and I will fight for that opinion, is Chandra's Hope's Beacon. It is 6 mana. That's the only downside to me, but it balances out really well. When you cast an instant or sorcery spell, you may copy it. You may choose... No, it says copy. There's no may. Copy it. You may choose new targets for the copy. This ability triggers only once each turn. Her +2, add 2 mana in any combination of colors. +1, exile the top 5 cards of your library. Till the end of your next turn, you may cast an instant or sorcery from among those exiled cards. And her -X is she deals X damage to each of up to 2 targets.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's dumb. That's super dumb. Because you just go, okay, I come in, I'll +2. All right, you add 2 mana of any color. Then you play one of the cards from Phyrexia will be one that proliferates. So now she's at 8.
Yeah.
And taking down a Planeswalker from 8 is a little difficult.
Right.
And then you're like, cool, I'm going to cast these spells, whatever it may be, to proliferate during your turn. And it copies that spell, by the way, if that's the first spell you cast. So it proliferates twice. So she's actually at 9.
Yeah.
And then you look at the top 2 cards, whatever the actual text says before proliferate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then you go into your next turn because she's probably still alive. And then you're like, cool, I'm going to cast this spell that does damage to you or proliferates her, or whatever it may be.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just take their life down. and then you're just like, cool, I'm minus X her to deal a damage to a creature and damage to you, or damage to both opponents.
Yeah, it's
And
like,
you're just like, here, take 10.
Yeah, it's like, oh, is my Chandra at 10 loyalty? Cool. 10 to your creature, 10 to your face.
Exactly.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I like that.
So,
pretty nice.
And then on her it's a +1 to exile 5 cards, and any of the instant sorceries from those 5 cards, you could cast them till your end of your next turn.
Well, it says you may cast an instant or sorceries. You have to pick one.
Yeah.
Until the
From
end
the
of your
top
next
5.
turn, you may cast an instant or sorcery from one of those cards.
So you have to pick one.
So
Okay.
it's
It's still not bad, though.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a risk, though.
Yeah, but I mean, for a
Yeah.
+1, it's not bad.
yeah.
The fact that
if
she
you-
has 2 pluses and her minus is essentially like what you're hoping to be sort of like your game finisher.
True.
Not gonna lie, that if it was pay 6 mana, impulse draw 5 until your next turn, I would more or less like see where you're coming from.
That'd be busted.
With well, I know, but that's what it read as. But
Yeah.
that now is way worse.
Yeah. Her
Well,
+1 isn't as good, but I would argue her +2
Yeah,
is
it's plus 2
is
because
what you
at the end
focus
of
on.
the day, it ends up being a 4 mana
Right.
because if you're doing the +2 because you're paying 6 and you're getting 2 back.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's no limitation on that 2 mana she makes. You can spend
Yeah.
it on whatever.
Yeah. So,
Pretty nice.
all right, that's my list. Thank you for listening. You may now.
You may
Kiss
now,
the bride.
yeah, bring yourself up to
Why did I
the
say that?
bring yourself up to the podium, Austin. It's time to announce your list.
Yeah, so my honorable mention is a card called Pylon. If this just isn't a card made for me, like I don't know what it is. The reason why it's not in this is it's just a kill spell. Like it's cool, but it's at the end of the day it's just a kill spell. It's 4 mana for an instant. It has Convoke, so tap the tokens, and then destroy target creature or planeswalker, surveil 2. That's just good. Like
Yeah, it's just
like
good.
you either pay the mana cost, half the mana cost, however much you want to pay for it. You're killing something, and which is a creature or a planeswalker. So Chandra's over there just like, hey, I just did something, and I'm just like, yeah, tap 4 tokens. No, you don't. And then, which feel bad, and then you just get the surveil 2. Like this is 100% going in my Grist deck. Insects. It is so good.
Yeah.
Like
It kind of goes along with what I said earlier. Like, I kind of like seeing the unique nature that Wizards takes for these black kill spells. The fact that it has Convoke, it's in the best case scenario, it's a free kill spell.
Yeah.
And you get to surveil 2 on top of it.
Yeah. No, it's I just think it's good. Honestly. Like I think it's great, but like out of my favorite cards that I'm going to be playing with the most, I'm going to be using it a lot. But some of these I won't be playing as much, but still they're just better in my opinion. So, number 10 is Complete the Circuit. It's a 6 mana instant, it's blue. Has Convoke as well. You may cast sorcery spells this turn as though they had flash. So, not you only do sorceries, not like sorcery speed stuff, but it's still decent. So you can do like I don't know, what do you call it? A board wipe.
A Wrath of God, a Supreme
Instant speed.
Verdict.
Yeah, when you next cast an instant or sorcery spell this turn, copy that spell twice. I don't know why you would. By the way, I don't know why you do it with a board wipe for this
No, do it
reason,
anyway.
but
Send a
we'll
message.
get to that in a second. So you copy it twice, and then you select your targets. Once again, this is going in Kaikar.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Because oh my god, like that is fantastic.
I definitely think you should double up on the Wrath of God. Really send a message to your opponents.
That's the thing though.
Shield tokens.
Yeah, for shield tokens, but also if something has for some reason they have an effect that goes like for example, Kalitas.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a Kalitas, sure, I'll do it. I'll blow up everything. Mind you, everything will get exiled. But then the person who has Kalitas will make all those zombies, and then all those zombies die.
Yeah.
So that's pretty decent. But there's a lot of things you can do with this. Like
It gets copied twice.
it gets copied twice.
So you blow up the zombies, and then you blow up everything else around the zombies. Then you blow up the zombies' remains.
Yes. Yeah. You blow up the shadows where the zombies were.
Exactly. You
Oh.
Hiroshima them.
Yeah.
Oh.
my gosh.
Oh no.
So yeah, honestly, I just like it. There's just so many things you can do with it. My number 9 is all has already been said. Chrome Host Seed Shark.
That's your number 9?
It's my number 9
Sad.
because it reminds me of Sharknado.
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 Yeah, it's just good. I already run. This is going in my cut card deck, so
Yeah, why wouldn't it?
there's not too much else I can really say about that.
No, we've already hyped the card up, bro.
No, it's cute.
I know. My number
Jason.
8,
Thanks, man.
which is funny if you're going to watch this video and then you're going to watch a future video. My number 8 is Conclave Sledge Captain. It's a 6-mana 4/4, an elephant soldier that has backup 1, backup 1, backup 1. Which is stupid because it adds it. If you choose the same creature, it adds the text box 3 separate times.
Yes, it does.
Now Conjurer's Closet it. Now Ephemerate it. Now have Elish Norn out. You're doing that a lot. Even if you don't do any of that stuff, you're giving whatever you're giving trample and the 1/1 counter. And then the bottom of it says, as trample, whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, put that many 1/1 counters on it.
Hey, guess what happens if it has that line of text 3 times?
Because what happens when it has that line of text 3 times and has double strike? You're dead.
You're dead.
You're just dead.
If the first instance of damage doesn't kill you, the second will.
And then imagine putting it on a Collodion Hydra.
Ooh, yikes.
Which is in the precon.
It is.
For some reason.
It
just
is.
with this guy too.
It is in the precon.
I'll explain this card in a lot more detail a little bit in a future video. I'm assuming we're still doing. I
don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
So that's my number 8. My number 7 is Pelucranos Reborn.
No, say it right. Polukranos.
I hate you. It's 3 mana, all 3 green for a 4/5 with reach. For the rate,
Kratos?
not Kratos.
Pollute Kratos?
Pollute Kratos.
But no, for 3 mana for a 4/5 with reach, that's just good on its own. Like, sure, it's not breaking any new ground.
Oh no, 3
For
mana
the rate, it's just good.
Yeah, 3 mana for a 4/5 with reach. That's good.
It's cute.
But then it says it has a transform text like in Nick's list had a lot of where you pay 6 and then a Phyrexian white and you transform it. And you transform it into Polukranos.
Polukranos.
Pollute Kratos.
I'm going to throw you through a window.
Only a window?
Only a window.
Just one window.
Which is the Engine of Ruin. It is a 6/6 with reach and lifelink. Whenever Polukranos, or whatever you just said, Engine of Ruin, or another non-token Hydra you control dies, create a 3/3 green and white Phyrexian Hydra creature token with reach, and a 3/3 green and white Phyrexian Hydra token with lifelink.
Why does that sound so familiar, Austin?
Because it's a Wormcoil engine. Almost. It's just changed with reach instead of Death Touch. I've heard a lot of people talk crap about this card. I don't think you're seeing the bigger picture. So, and maybe you are, maybe whatever. But if you're building a Hydra deck with this guy, it basically just reads, you can, I don't know what, mind you, if you want to do this or not, this is what I'm going to be doing with it. You cast your Hydras for 0. So I'll pay 1 green and make a 3/3 with reach and a 3/3 with lifelink. Cool. Next thing, I'll pay another green or 2 green or whatever. Do the same thing. You keep doing the same thing, and then you play something like Creeping Renaissance and bring all your creatures back to your hand and do it again.
Yep.
Like, this guy is great. The fact that he's a 6/6, and then he does it to himself if someone is trying to get rid of it. You're just like, yeah, cool, I'll just keep making the Hydra tokens. And then on top of that, if you're running something like, it's in white and green. Token doublers.
Token city.
Like, oh my gosh. Like, imagine having Mondrak and, like, maybe another, like, a Parallel Lives or something out. You pay 1 green and you make 4 tokens.
Welcome to Radio Shack, where we have Anointed Procession and Parallel Lives and
If you
Doubling
have both
Season.
of them out, you're making 8 tokens.
You're making 8 tokens for 1 green mana.
Because you doubled and double again.
With reach.
And
lifelink.
lifelink.
And lifelink.
So,
honestly,
I like it.
I think in my perspective, I think the reach is in most cases more important than the death touch, because death touch is cool, but reach prevents the biggest issue that green white has sometimes, which is dealing with flyers.
Yeah,
it's like, cool, now I have all these 3/3 bibis that can block flyers. Like,
they just slap them out of the sky.
So are you thinking of making a Polukranos commander deck?
Polukranos.
Making the commander? Interesting.
Yeah.
Say it right.
Whatever.
Oh.
Anyway, so my number 6 is the Wildfire Awakener. It is has X in its cost, but it also has a colorless, a red, and a white, so 3 and then X. For a human wizard with Convoke,
Wow.
I like Convoke, which is funny because I'm not playing that in the gameplay video, but whatever.
What a loser.
It has Convoke, and it says whenever Wildfire Awakener enters the battlefield, create X 1/1 red elemental creature tokens with whenever this creature becomes tapped, it deals 1 damage to each player.
Ooh.
Sorry, to target player, not each player. That'd be broken. That'd be so
busted.
Broken. I'm pretty sure I'm putting this in my Jetmir deck just because I already make so many tokens.
I was about to say, this is going in gear red easily.
And if you can literally play something like a what is that green enchantment that basically makes everything a mana dork? I don't remember the
Cryptolith.
Cryptolith, yes.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and make all this mana die. Like,
what's that? I tapped 12 1/1 red elementals for 12 mana, 12 damage.
mm-hmm,
Yeah, that's pretty good.
You just put green and you have Catildo. Oh wait, she only makes humans.
Yeah.
Oh, they're
Yeah.
elementals.
Mask with Nexus.
Well,
Yeah.
Mask
But
with
still-
Nexus goes in every deck.
Just in
regardless,
every deck.
I love it. Like, it's just it makes tokens. It makes tokens that do things.
Yeah, that's
Me-
solid. That's honestly
me likey.
solid. Me likey.
That is what he do though.
Him having Convoke also just basically makes him free. Like, literally the X and everything in his cost doesn't matter if you have enough tokens and creatures to tap down for the Convoke.
I just thought something.
What?
You bring him back to your hand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you bounce them back to your hand and just keep doing
and
it
then
again.
All of your things get tapped when you cast for them. So you're just
Mhm.
like, Convoke using my red elemental tokens.
Yeah.
Beep bop.
'Cause
and then do it again. Do it
Convoke
again.
doesn't,
Do it again.
Convoke
then-
doesn't care about summoning sickness.
No, it doesn't.
That with a token doubler. Or
With
that with
Mondrak or
Elish
Elish
Norn.
Norn
Or
just like,
Anointed Possession. Literally any of the...
do,
wow.
See?
That's just, yeah.
I just hear the...
good.
He's really
Yeah,
good.
I just hear the star theme from Mario in my head.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
nutso. I love that.
So my number 5 is Wand of the World Soul.
Hmm.
It is a 3 mana. It's white. Throw an artifact. Enters the battlefield tapped, which is it taps for white. It's a white mana rock. Then the bottom says the next spell you cast this turn has Convoke.
Oh my god.
That is ridiculous.
Oh no.
Like,
Tell him again, Austin.
ridiculous.
One more time.
Ridiculous.
One more time for the guys in the back.
No.
Whoa.
So having this on an X spell, or like, I don't know, like depending, like for me with how many tokens that I make, like on the reg, whatever. This is really, really dumb. Just because it's just like, oh hey, so I'm gonna play my Raynar deck, and I'm gonna have like, I don't know, 20 plus spirits. And it's like at the end of your turn or whatever, I'm gonna convoke this Blue Sun Zenith or something.
Yeah.
I'm gonna draw 20 cards, or Blue Sun Zenith is the one you can target just target player.
Yeah, target player.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can just kill someone possibly, depending on how many tokens you have.
Yeah.
Just draw your whole deck, bud.
Yep. Because
And
I
then
have 46 tokens. Cool. Draw 46 cards, and I'm gonna
Mhm.
put Blue Sun Zeniths back in my library.
Yeah.
You know, Worldfire just got unbanned, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You just Worldfire.
Oh my god. Yeah. That. And if you did that with the wildfire, what is it? The Wildfire Awakener. Put everybody to oh wait, no, because Worldfire also gets rid of all the Still though, you just tap the wand, convoke the Worldfire, put everybody at 1, and say, all right guys, we're in a race. Let's see who dies first.
You could. There's some really stupid. Not to get too off topic, but there are some things with like Worldfire where you can do like exile, like cast spells from exile. And there's a card for 1 red that deals 1 damage to each player.
Mm-hmm.
There's
do
also a suspend card. I think it's called Aether Slice.
Yeah.
Just literally 2 damage to target opponent.
Yeah.
And it has like it suspends with 2 time counters.
Yeah.
Pretty nuts.
But,
I like that. That's cool. That's a
yeah.
very, very, very interesting little artifact.
So from here on out on my list, everything would almost tie for number 1. I love every single one of these cards, and I'm going to make every single one of these decks. They're all legendaries, mind you.
Hey yo.
Yeah.
My.
So number 4 is Heliod the Radiant Dawn. He's a 4 mana 4/4. Whenever Heliod the Radiant Dawn enters the battlefield, return target enchantment card that isn't a god from your graveyard to your hand. That's not great. I mean, it could be useful. It definitely on the deck. It won't be useful for my deck. I can promise you that.
Could be.
It could be.
There's enchantments.
But
Yeah,
not necessarily
not.
for what I'm going to be doing.
Yeah.
I'll explain that in a second. But then you can transform it for 3 in a Phyrexian blue. So he flips into one of my favorite arts from the set as well. Heliod the Warped Eclipse for a 4/6 that says you may cast spells as though they had flash. Okay, that's it basically turns into a the orrery.
Chromatic Orrery?
No,
Gearpur Orrery.
No,
Voldalkin Orrery.
Vidalcan Orrery.
Yeah, Vidalcan Orrery.
Yes, that one.
You
It
said the
basically-
Orrery, and it like 3 Orreries
Yeah,
went
yeah.
through my head. I was like,
So that's pretty good. But then the bottom one says spells you cast cost 1 less to cast for each card your opponents have drawn this turn. So if you tap a Temple Bell, what happens, Nick?
everybody draws a card.
So your next spell costs 4 less because if it's on an opponent's turn, they already drew 1 card per turn. Right?
Yep.
Oh,
'Cause
God.
It-
Yeah.
It doesn't matter like how they drew it. It's just if it's on an opponent's turn. So how I would be doing this is at the end of the person right before me, I would go, cool, I'm going to either Windfall or I'm going to have play a card like a Prosperity or something, right? Where everyone's going to draw, just for prosperity's sake, I'll say 5 cards, right?
Okay.
Mhm.
It instant speed everything else, but whatever. Everyone's going to draw 5 cards. All my spells are going to cost 15 less, 16 technically if you're going off of the math I said before. Now you're going to drop another, probably an X spell to draw almost all the cards in your deck, possibly. And then you're going to play every Eldrazi in your deck, which is what I'm going to be doing.
Ah, there it is.
Because and you can also not just do Eldrazi, you can do big artifact like Blightsteals or whatever, but I personally want to do a
That is-
Phyrexian god from Theros playing with tentacle monsters. That sounds dope.
You
That's
know
what
what else
I
I just
say.
thought of?
Mhm.
Forced Fruition. Whenever a player casts a spell,
Whenever somebody
They
casts a
draw
spell,
7
yeah,
cards.
and it's not a May. It's not a May. They have to do it.
Yeah.
That's why I
So
have it in my
8,
hug deck.
Everything goes down by 8 each turn.
That's pretty. Oh, okay. See, the issue with that though is if I did that, I would kill myself. Because
Why?
It's
It's-
players, isn't it? Or
It says
It's
opponent.
whenever an opponent casts a spell, that player draws 7 cards.
add to list.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that's an immediate. I have that in my hug deck
I have
literally
that
for
for
that
that
reason.
reason.
okay,
Exactly.
that changes things a little bit.
But it is like 7 mana, I think.
Yeah, it's 4 and triple blue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but like if you're already going off of his thing, if he's already out and then they
Sure.
already drew a card or whatever, you're paying it for like what 3 whatever
Yeah,
3
Yeah.
blue or
and there's
whatever it
other
is.
there's a lot of other cheaper like everybody draws cards like Vision
Yeah.
Skines. Vision Skines is 2 mana. Everybody draws 2 cards. Now all your spells cost 6 less for that
Yeah.
turn.
Yeah.
Which the argument is that I've had with someone else is that they're like, oh well, when you flip it, they're just gonna kill it because they know what you're gonna do. The deck I'm gonna run is probably gonna have 15 counter spells in it. No lie,
That's not enough.
I know.
And
I
it's the
probably need more.
commander.
And it's the commander, so I can just get it back.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
it's gonna have a lot of ramp. It's basically just gonna be ramp, counter spells, Eldrazi. That's it. And obviously card draw. But
Yeah.
I'll deal with it.
If you just
You might
made,
see the deck. I don't know.
if you just made the ramp even enchantments, and let's say it does
Mhm.
die, you recast Heliod, and then you just have
get
it
it
right back. Yeah, and you're just like,
Yeah.
here's the enchantment. Done
Yeah.
deal.
no, that's very true.
Yeah. So that is him.
That's
The
Heliod.
other one is actually my favorite character that they printed in the newest Theros set. And it's not the dog.
Aw.
It's Kroxa and Kunaros. I love Kroxa. I love the Titans in Greek mythology and everything else. So like, as soon as it came, I love Uro and Kroxa, but Kroxa he's my baby. He's my teethy baby. He's a 6 mana
He do have a lot of
6/6.
teeth.
You
Did you
do.
say teethy?
He's a I did.
Teethy, yeah. He did
Okay.
say
He's
teethy. baby.
teething.
All right,
Not to be
whatever.
confused with toothy.
Whatever.
He's kind of toothy. Anyway, regardless. So he's 6 mana for a 6/6 with Vigilance, Menace, Lifelink. He is red, white, and black in his color identity. Whenever Kroxa and Kunaros enters the battlefield or attacks, you may exile 5 cards from your graveyard. When you do, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. So basically just makes something have escape.
Mhm.
However, I'm not doing this because I want to have fun with this deck and not just win, like auto win. But you can do this with if you have Sir Conrad out with him, and then you play Altar of Dementia. You can just you play him. ETB goes on the stack. You sack him to Altar of Dementia. He goes to the graveyard. Then you're gonna mill 6. You're gonna exile 5, bringing him back, exiling. You just at that point you just go into a
Infinite
Into
loop.
a
into
loop.
infinite loop,
Yeah.
and they just lose life. I don't want to do that, like I said, but
Well, you need at least 40 creatures in your deck for them to lose. Because
why?
Conrad says whenever a creature hits the battlefield, the graveyard.
Well, it says it leaves the graveyard. Well, no, because
No.
you're gonna be milling,
Yeah, whenever it enters or leaves.
right?
So you'd again,
So you need 20.
at least 20. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I would put like 40 in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, easily.
Well, I mean, it's gonna be the way I'm building it is just a recursion deck, so there's gonna be a lot of creatures in it anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's
But
fair.
I don't know. 6 mana for 6/6 Vigilance, Menace, and Lifelink seem pretty good.
It was good.
That's pretty good.
So yeah,
I think
I
that's-
love him.
I think that's literally all of Kunoros's
It is.
keywords.
Yeah. And now to my last 2. I actually switched these up because this guy was gonna be my first, but he's not anymore. So Gimbal, Gremlin Prodigy, is a 5 mana. He's Teamer, the one that Jason's gonna be playing. For 4/4, a Gremlin Artificer. He has artifact creatures you control have trample. That's dope. And then at the beginning of your end step, create a 0/0 red Gremlin artifact creature token with put X/1/1 counters on it, where X is the number of differently named artifact tokens you control. This is pretty obvious. It's just a bunch of tokens. I'm just going to be making a bunch of Thopter tokens, a bunch of food tokens, a bunch of clue tokens, about whatever.
Austin's
You
making
better make servos and mirrors too.
I am.
Who would have thought?
But yeah, that's why I was just like, man, this guy kind of like, he speaks to me. That's why he's going to be my number 1. And then Jason already called the Teamer deck like 3 months out. So I was just like, darn. But he's super cool. I think he's kind of, I don't want to say underlooked or overlooked. Like, I know some people are talking about him, but a lot of people aren't just like saying that he's fantastic. Like, if you're playing the deck right, he can make some value. He is amazing.
Yeah, I think the word you're looking for was underappreciated.
That one. yes.
Underdomiciated.
No.
I don't think that was. I don't think
No.
that was English.
No, it is. It is.
Oh, okay.
Um,
I just had to make sure.
But
Yeah, I saw it in a movie.
my number 1 and the deck I will be playing on our gameplay channel or channel
gameplay
video.
channel.
Wow, we
gameplay?
have a gameplay channel?
That's news
Wow.
to me.
is Brimaz, Blight of Oreskos.
I'm so sad to see the king fall.
I'm not. I think he looks dope as hell.
He does. He
Looks
does look dope.
Ripped.
But
Yeah.
I'm just sad to see him go.
So before I start explaining this card, let me go ahead and point this out. When I first saw this, I got hyped. I saw him and I got hyped. I saw the deck that he came in. I wasn't hyped, and I literally complained about it and everything like a little screaming baby because I was just like, this deck is
Yes,
terrible.
he texted me the whole time.
I did. And then I read the more stuff and realized that almost all the cards, the creatures that I was complaining about, were errated to be Phyrexian. And then it got better. And then I started looking and going, oh wow, this does so much more than I thought.
Yeah,
so
'cause he
so
doesn't
let me read it
cards.
now. So he is a 4 mana 3/4. He's black and white. He's a Phyrexian cat. Whenever you cast a Phyrexian creature or artifact creature spell, incubate X, where X is the spell's mana value. So incubate is like we said earlier. It you just make a little, basically you make a little egg, and then it comes in and makes it a little big boy. But then it also says at the beginning of each end step, if a Phyrexian died under your control this turn, proliferate. So
Oh.
out the box, this thing is pretty cool. Obviously we haven't got the decks yet, but I'm very excited to play this. It's going to be so much fun to make a whole bunch of little incubate guys. However, I don't know how I missed this, but it says at the end of each turn, at each end step, you proliferate, and there's a lot of things you can bring back in total. You know, just like bouncing things and like Phyrexian Reclamation. It's not in the deck, but I will be putting it in after we play because we're gonna be playing straight from the box to the playmat. This works really well with Infect.
Yes, it does.
Wow, what a
That's-
coinkydink.
Crazy, right?
What a strange
In
coinkydink.
one round, you get to proliferate 4 times if you're doing it right.
Yep.
It is stupid.
What a strange coinkydink that the Phyrexian cat would make Infect really good.
I know.
That's weird.
And that's not even what he's really going for. He's going for the incubate.
Yeah, the incubate stuff.
And then on top of that, just the incubate is just good. Just
Yeah.
because, like, sure, I'll pay I don't know, I'll play like a Solemn Simulacrum or whatever, right? You'll get the value from it, but then you're also gonna make a 4/4 that you can pay 2 to make the 4/4. but then whenever something else dies, like a Phyrexian dies, you make it a 5/5 and a 6/6 and a 7/7. Like it literally just keeps going up and up and up. Everything you have just keeps going up and up. While this isn't my preferred type of tokens, because I like literally making thousands of them, like in a swarm. I'm okay with tokens that go tall. I'm big boys, like Godzilla-sized threats.
Godzilla-sized eggs.
Correct.
Yes.
Just like the 2000 movie.
Like the Great Cocoon of Mothra.
Sure. But yeah, that's my number one. I am very excited to play him, and he has a lot going on. And I know I got a lot more excited for Heliod, but it's just because I love Eldrazi's. But I'm actually very excited.
What was your fourth honorable mention?
My fourth honorable mention?
Yeah, we already went through the other three. What was your fourth?
Yeah, where's your actual list, Austin? These all sound like crap.
Oh, so Progenitor Exile.
Oh my.
I'm kidding. So yeah.
Well, hope you guys enjoyed our top 10 list, and yeah, we're glad to bring this to you, bring our opinions. If you guys want to see more videos like this, leave us a comment below. If you guys have your own opinions or your own top 10s, go ahead and let us know below.
Let us know your favorite cards.
Yeah.
We'd love to hear it.
Let us know if you disagree with some of our picks, or if maybe we should have put something else on our list. Yeah, like Jason. Jason's entire list, just garbage.
Yeah. Terrible.
Listen, you can't disagree with straight facts. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Hey, thank you for watching this video. If you want to see more and you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you really like the video, please hit the bell.
If you want to hang out with more nerds just like us, check out the Discord. It's free. Also, be sure to check the description where we have links to our Patreon, where you can get access to all sorts of behind-the-scenes content and even prototype merch. And if you're still watching, thank you. You make stuff like this possible for all of us. Have a nice day. We'll hope to see you soon.